Test. How you guys doing? Welcome. Let me check the audios, check the feedback. We're good there. Audio levels are decent. Let me give you a little bit of music. I've got some videos, so we're gonna have to go between music and stuff, so I'm gonna play DJ today. But how you guys doing? It's your dude Runner. Welcome to the stream. Per the usual, stream is used for education purposes only. It's not to be used as financial advice. Guys, we are here. We are killing it. S&P 500 all-time high. Bitcoin all-time high. Ethereum almost all-time high. I hope you guys are doing well. What is up, Sean? D. Got Dave here. Mally. Fletch. Got a good crew. Yeah, so we got a lot to cover today. I have quite a bit of slides. I'm going to try to do it fast, try to go it well, and then we're going to go hang out in the Rainbow Trends Discord. As per the usual, we hang out here every Thursday for 1 hour, sometimes an hour and a half, depending on what the charts are doing. We talk stocks, we talk charts, we talk fishing, we talk how bad I am at surfing, we talk about Toyotas, you name it. But the big focus is just talking about like rainbow theory, what these whales are doing with the actual market manipulation. But we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. UNH, Warren Buffett, S&P all-time high, Bitcoin all-time highs, Ethereum damn near all-time highs. Crazy calls we've been chasing with the rainbow stuff, how we've been doing. But as usual, if you have any ideas like what the hell run are you even looking at, why do your charts look like rainbows? It's a lot of code. It's a lot of stuff to give us an edge in the market. So if you have any interest to figure out what's going on, check us out on the website, rainbowtrends.com. And side note, I've been working really hard back on the tool tutorials. We had some new guys start and started asking some really pointed questions. Once you get used to something, you tend to forget the basics of trying to learn something new again. So I went back and really started putting in new stuff here, so definitely go check it out. We've got videos, we've got charts, we've got tutorials, write-ups. If you have any questions or anything else added, let me know. But I think I've got 2 or 3 more of these to fix up. I've got to do probably some more videos, some tutorial videos, and then I'll start working back on the front page of the website. But we got all of our security. It wasn't a security thing, but it was we got a bunch of stuff fixed finally. That's been bugging me for a while, so I'm very excited. But let's start off. Let's go through it. We got a lot of slides today, but like you said, blow up the chat, like, comment, subscribe. It helps the algo, and it costs you nothing to do a click. And I monitor the clicks. The mods ban the people that don't click. But you guys may or may not know this. I grew up a Ninja Turtle absolute nut. Frankly, the videos or the movies were insane. The video games were freaking phenomenal all around, and apparently, they're bringing a live-action Ninja Turtles movie back, and it's going to be rated R. I can't freaking wait. So, I just totally not related to anything unless we want to talk maybe the stocks of the people behind this. But you know the intros of these streams, we don't always cover important stuff, but guys, I'm beyond excited for that, and my kids aren't going to be able to see it. But moving on, since we've got to talk seriousness and we've got to talk starts, we've got to talk charts. Thanks for coming. I had to see this, so you guys do too. The boss of my pizza has been spawning amazing memes, and apparently there's a sailor version now, and I about spit out my coffee this morning when I saw that one, so I had to share that with the stream and make sure I bookmark it. But yeah, I had to see it, so you guys had to too. So, biggest thing with the news today. There's been quite a few rainbow traders and friends who've been trading UNH. Dime did some longs on it. Dave with Trend Spider did some longs on it. Like Mally was playing with it and a few others of the trade file, but back in the Rainbow Trades Discord. And there's been some filings about Warren Buffett and what he's doing with Berkshire Hathaway, because he's been filing that they've been buying a stock in size. It came out today after the close. Berkshire Hathaway bought 5 million shares of United Healthcare stock. Something we've been longing, because our theory was this either goes to zero, like legit they go to zero, or this rainbow bounces and reverts like crazy. The reversion bands were too deep, too sharp. We had white candles, everything. It came out today. Not only did Warren Buffett buy the absolute crap out of United Healthcare, so did Michael Burry. Michael Burry came out, I think, with $150 million worth of call option trades on UNH. So let's take a look at the chart, because everyone and their mom on Twitter is talking about how, oh, apparently they were long. I can't stand how misguided people are with claiming clout after the fact, and you go look at their accounts and they have zero positions, zero things before the move actually happens. Then magically, as soon as it bounces, they're like, oh, look, I was long. You guys should follow me. Go check the receipts. We were playing this and just saying flat out, this is either the dumbest thing we're doing and this is going to zero, or this damn thing's going to bounce. Look at this pain. White candles, whale cluster prints, bottom signals everywhere. Like, it's crazy. And I started DCAing in here, and I think my final DCA was 265-ish. I'd have to check the TradeFi account tomorrow. But around 265, and I was mainly sniping that bottom wick. And why did I do that? I was getting pink RSI on white candles damn near touching the orange bands. And I was like, this is just stupid. If you don't remember, this is the healthcare stock that had the CEO, unfortunately. I don't want to get... I've been permabanned before. I will say... You know what happened. Is his abrupt end to the CEO happened. There we go. Long story short, dude, this is, let me see, 7 years of uptrend erased in days. And it was just one of the biggest things is we're like, Rainbow Theory says this is either going to bounce or like it's legit dead, i.e. like what Luna did back in the day. And it's bounced. And you don't see it here. You don't see it here. Why? Because the market's closed. The current price of UNH is like $300. Warren Buffett DCA'd here around $311, right? We DCA'd way down here deeper in the bands. So, Warren, if you're listening, go into size deeper in the bands. It'll help you out, right? I'm not going to help him out trade. He's way better. But the point is we did a lot of damage. We did really, really well. And tomorrow is going to be absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. And I can't freaking wait. So it's crazy. Like I was joking in the DMs with friends. They're like, oh, the Warren Buffett stock, it's got to be UNH, right? Da-da-da-da. Sure as shit it was. And it's going to be amazing. Let me see if I can show what's the current price. Labels. There's a post-market. High-low. Do you guys know in the chat how to do it? Day close price. There's a way to see... How do you guys get it to show after hours? Because, no, there it is, extended. Yeah, extended. Sorry, I thought there was a way you could show the extended price without showing these hour things, but it's right now at $300. So, no freaking telling, yeah, thank you, Fletch, what it's going to do tomorrow. It may go straight up pink, hit 350. Which is just going to be absolutely insane. So, as luck would have it, the Rainbow Traders bought the friggin' dip, and that dip was actually the same thing Warren Buffett came out to, so it's absolutely sick. It's amazing. So, man, awesome. Not that I like to toot my own horn, because I know that's exactly what this sounds like, but it's freaking cool. To DCA into something like this, and we are going to get blasted into profit. So, you remember how I was saying Warren Buffett DCA was 311? So let's draw 311 right here. Right? That's $311. Do you notice where the volume impulse is? Da-da-da. That is Berkshire Hathaway. Isn't that cool? Not that I could tell that like in the moment. I knew this was whales in size when this happened, and this is like when I saw the volume like start slamming, and it was really on this candle. That's where I saw the volume peak. That first H4 that went down below 258, That's the first like candle that hit, and I was like, F it, boom, and I started buying into it. So anyway, what's up next is yeah, a bunch of people just DM'd me in Discord. I'll get back to you guys in a bit because I'm gonna forget. But anyway, that's awesome, and then you see it fade. So that very well may be the Berkshire move. I don't know. I don't remember. He was. I just closed the tab. I don't remember how many tabs it was, but we might be able to calculate it. But you can see that's like 1.2 billion. That's 1.2 billion. No, hold on. That's 1.8 billion. 1.2 billion. 700 million. You can maybe add that up and see. It'd be kind of cool if that's really. Now, I don't know how if Warren does it like OTC or whatever and it doesn't show up in the traditional volume, but I can say that's an F ton of volume on that. I mean, there's nothing like that in recorded history. Like you guys probably on the stream just looks probably like a straight line. Like there's nothing here. That's a ton of volume. And a reminder, the split volume has an update. So shout out Doc Schultz. Way back in the day, he was asking me, he's like, hey, can you make this show volume instead of stock, or instead of number of shares? So you, FYI, you can adjust this to show number of tokens or shares, or you can do it by the dollar amount. Just a little wiggly there. But anyway, moving on. It's super cool. I've been underwater in UNH for a good bit since May. It's been a few months. And now we are going to be into sweet, sweet, sweet profit. So I'm very, very excited. It's cool to see like the theory of like, it's really cool to like see rainbow theory play out in real life. Like I know that sounds like self-promoting, but like it's cool to like, hey, I put money on the line. This is what the tools are saying. And then bam, it actually plays out. It's cool. Anyway, moving on. The other thing, we got stupid lucky today, which is just crazy. We've been underwater in Intel as well. President Trump administration to discuss U.S. government taking stake in Intel. Lo and behold, it highly reacted to this news. Intel is way up to date. And there's been two ranges here for Intel. There's been this initial one where this is actually where the, I don't know if it's a current CEO, I think it was the former CEO, bought around here. Like, I think he bought $250,000. I don't know if it was options or spot. We'd have to check the TrendSpider stuff. But shout out TrendSpider. Shout out Dan. But we're now in, like, very white coffee-shy range. And we just got news that, like, Trump's, like, talking about getting in with Intel. So, government-supported. We'll see. It'd be super cool to break this range on this huge drawdown and try to go back for, like, $50. Because we're talking about, like, $23 to $50 on a crazy, crazy percentage-wise of a stock that's massive in TradeFi. So it'd be really, really cool. Not gonna lie. But as with all news, the someone always knows, someone always leaks, people always talk, right? Thanks, Dime, for the cat video midstream. Thank you. Intel position moved based off Trump's comments that he's planning to try to get the U.S. government to take a stake. Someone else, prior to that announcement, loaded $1 million worth of Intel calls. With only a few hours later, Trump made this announcement. This person who bet $1 million is now a billionaire. A billionaire. Now, we don't know who this is. We don't know if it's inside trading, but I have a hunch. I think it might be one of the Trumps. So yeah, just bought a load of Intel shares. Tell Dad to say the government's taking stake of it. So could be it. I don't know. But man, if you were a bug on the wall in some of these meetings, knowing what's about to come out, you just be sitting there on your phone, like acting like you're not paying attention. You're just balls deep in Robinhood, YOLOing calls. But anyway. Today, we printed all-time highs yesterday. This week's been amazing in crypto. The S&P's been doing good. And then we had a pullback today that ripped. When I say ripped, it got a lot of people. $1 billion in liquidation was wiped out in the past 24 hours. And all of this happened in about an hour. I say hour. This stuff grinds and makes the numbers, but the real push, a god-awful amount of this happened in about an hour. And why is that? As much as I want crypto to be completely independent of stock markets and or traditional news, it's not. Today we had PPI numbers come in, and the PPI numbers were way higher than expected. And what happened was, when irregularities in the data, the big boys get out of position real fast and they have to reset. When that happens, a lot of the other stuff moves and pulls back hard. So you can go back and look at the numbers and all they posted. A big chunk of this, like PPI numbers, was saying like vegetables are like 39% more expensive than previously reported, and the estimates were off. Regardless, it wasn't something that was expected to be seen today, and it threw the market off. And while Fiju, I don't know how to say his name, I really like his content though. He makes a really good point here. A high PPI due to portfolio management fees, due to the stock market ripping his noise when everyone will forget in a few days. And he's right. This will be forgotten in a few days. But the problem is, we're posting into all-time highs, and people are leveraging to the tits on this super high. And they're getting very vulnerable to any type of shakeout. This is a good example. Aguila Trades was liquidated $84 million. He now has $330,000 in his account. So, F in the chat for our dude. This dude was long as well. So, the thing I wanted to point out, and there was a lot of stuff in the Discord chats talking again today. Some dudes were talking about like being down, some of their friends being down like $4 million. I think hype, they were long on hype. This is anecdotal, but I think they were long on hype, and like their stop losses and stuff weren't working. So be very careful with that, because even when you think you're safe with stop losses, it's not always the case. Even on like a real centralized exchange, it can get you. Shout out to Batman in the Discord. He had a thing where he had a stop loss in place on, I forgot what exchange it was, but it got flash wicked from like a whale's splash in the liquidity intentionally to try to drive price down, and the stop loss didn't trigger till price had retraced 99%. So literally his position stop lost at a 99% loss when it was a tight stop, and then the price came right back. So it literally, the stop loss wasn't executed till the very bottom, and it really screwed him over. So you guys, you just got to be super careful. And is there a solution for that? Not particularly, except diversify your risk. When I say diversify your risk, hey, you want to stay on North American exchanges? Hey, maybe use both. Maybe use Kraken and Coinbase. Split it a few different ways. There's people getting hacked all the time. Spread your baskets. Even the guys who want to tout hardware wallets, your house can get burned down. People can lose their stuff, forget their keys. You could get in a car wreck and your wife doesn't know how to open your wallet, that type of stuff. So just spread it all out. Never be vulnerable to that amount. I hope this guy has way more than that. I hope he's not out. So shout out Aguila. Hope you're doing well. Now, that is what happened. $1 billion. People reporting multiple $1 million that were long on hype and other leverage exchanges and stuff like that. Oh my God, how can this happen? Ethereum's about to be the next best thing. And then we look at the chart, and Fadri's got his point. You can't even see the PPI print in this. This is the H4 S&P 500 chart, rainbow style. You cannot even see it in the data. Maybe if we zoom in. I can't even find it. Maybe here. It's you can't even see it, but it flash crashed crypto is my point. So just be careful. In the past, everyone focuses on like FOMC. What I've seen in the charts, Bitcoin in particular, which if it moves, everything else moves. It's more sensitive to like PPI and CPI numbers. The FOMC stuff, even when Jerome actually says something like an actual change, doesn't seem like it's that big of a mover. It's more about the other stuff. So moving on. Since we're talking flash crashes, I wanted to show you guys this. This is insane. This has been doing rounds. Let me turn off the music. Let me increase the desktop audio so you guys can hear this, and I'll be quiet for a minute. This is a Mustang Mach-E. This is the Ford SUV electric vehicle. and it's having a runaway condition here on the highway, and someone videoed this, and it's going viral. And I wanted to show you guys this because this is super scary. A few years ago, the Toyotas were getting accused of like inadvertent acceleration that couldn't be stopped, and I can't imagine being stuck in this position because in your head you're just like, hey, I'll just stomp on the brakes, I'll be fine. Your brakes, when the engine's actually up and pushing, your brakes get fried real fast and they quit working altogether. So this dude is literally shoving the car into the side barrier to try to get it to slow down, and then he's literally praying, saying, Jesus, take the wheel. Can't believe this guy filmed it either. Dude sitting there praying. It gets worse. Yeah. Whew. That's a hell of a video. That's actually one of the few EVs I'd actually be was formerly interested in. Not anymore, needless to say, but that's I hope they're fine. They're at least going to the hospital over that one, but yeah. Nexus is saying, imagine if that was Rivian. What would our stock do? Let's take a look at Rivian, because I did not have that pulled up. Let's take a look at Rivian. Shout out Jintao and shout out Nexus. What up, my guys? This is one of the only companies that could seriously backed by Amazon, and they're not printing. Like, this stock used to be like over $100. Now it's $12. Now, the Rainbow Trends Top Signal's doing a lot of work here. So is the RSI Top Bot thing. Like, it's doing some work. Just saying. But this thing has done nothing but chop for years. So maybe 2026 is going to be the year this thing actually breaks out. Albeit we won't hear the end of it. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure Nexus will inform us when he's right. But checking out Ford, you can't even tell this has gone. The viral clip has made news on the stock yet. I can't imagine the lawsuit that follows from that, especially if you put that video in front of the jurors. They're going to sign that dude a blank check. And he kind of deserves it, I think. Anyway, moving on. Also, I didn't have Rivian. I'm so disappointed in myself I didn't have Rivian. I'm sorry, Nexus. I did want to take a look at Tesla, though. It's still grinding, still chopping. This wedge that we were kind of watching to see if this would pop, it broke it, but like didn't really do anything. That doesn't really work. I'll draw it back to here. This is how I was drawing it. It's broken through, but hadn't really done anything. It's dead center between the bands on green candles. I'm going to wait. I like Tesla when it does volatility, because when it does volatility dumps like this, we get rainbow reversions, we get RSI rotations, we get candle rotations, and then we end up getting like 60-80% moves, and we can get a chunk of that. So shout out Tesla. We'll see. Also, Elon's doing a lot of Twitter ranting about Grok Imagine, so he's obviously not focused on Tesla right now, so we'll see. But moving on. Speaking of CEOs, this was awesome. 9K posted this, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Let me show you this guys, because CNBC is discussing Binance's CZ, but they're using the pictures of Justin Sun, and I just thought this was the funniest damn thing. So yeah, watch.
Final question, maybe a little hard, but kind of fun. Should CZ get a pardon? What do you think?
We're not in the pardon business. You know, we've said it several times. We are not a political organization. We are a business. You know, he's obviously, you know, a guy that's built an incredible business. You know, I'll also add that he's quite charitable. He spends his life now, you know, on education and fixing the broken education system. someone we have a lot of, respect for in the way he's built his business and the way he leads his life. But, that's where it ends, Andrew.
It's fantastic.
Final question, maybe a little hard.
So, yeah, they nailed that one. And it went viral and people were laughing because it is hilarious. What are you going to do? All right, so let me fix the audio again. I wish I had a quick way to do this. Unfortunately, I don't. But let's take a look. BNB, how's it doing? BNB's all-time high, baby. BNB's almost $1,000. Insane. I don't even think a North American exchange has this yet. Shout out Binance. So, we'll see. What's up, Pepe? Speaking of Justin Suntron, he's apparently suing Bloomberg. Bloomberg is apparently working on an article and is going to release some information they found on him. And they're saying that Justin Sun has filed a lawsuit claiming they plan to recklessly and improperly disclose this highly confidential, sensitive, private, and proprietary financial information obtained while to verify his assets at Bloomberg. So this is going to get interesting. We're in the middle of a bull market. This is not the time to start talking trash about the CEOs. Also, one of the newest astronauts on the list. But let's check out Tron. Tron, this was the news that Tron did the stuff. I think this was they were going to be participating in the Trump token is what that was, and it just completely went kaboom. Now, to show you a live example, this is why machine learning reversion bands matter. Because they were telling you that is the friggin' top. Sell it. 42 cents, and it bled all the way out to 22. So, pinks and cyans is what Pepper normally talks about, as well as Pixa. That's the setup we look for. You don't see it often, but when you do, buckle up because you're not going to see anything better than that. So, moving on. So, we got a lot to cover. So, Polar is reported today that he apparently got drained for like $220,000. I'm paying attention to this one because I do want to see if there's any lesson learned. But it goes back to me telling you guys, de-Google yourself. Don't trust soft wallets. Do not do screen shares. Do not do Teams calls. Do not do Zoom calls with your laptops or computers that have crypto wallets on them. Do not put your seed phrases on anything digital, whether that's a photo of something you wrote, anything. It needs to be on like a hard wallet key thing that's like physical, nothing else, like no digitals. YubiKeys, hard wallets, diversify into multiple reputable crypto exchanges that are in your jurisdiction. Just try not to be this dude. We don't want to, guys. We've been waiting. We've been doing this stream. We've been doing Rainbow Trends for years. We've been through the trenches. We've been through ups and downs. We're finally at the ups. Please don't take an L that takes everything away. So shout out Polar. I hope they give it back. I hope everything gets better. Just whatever. And here's 9K telling you, check Google 2FA, hijack Chrome extensions. Yeah, that's another thing. Google 2FA sucks. It can get you hacked. Get you some physical 2FA. All I'm saying. And like, I know you're listening to me. I know you are. You're like, oh yeah, I'm smart. I'll be good. Go act. Go pull out your credit card. Go buy some physical keys right now. Get you some UBs. Get you some Trezors or some whatever favorite crypto soft hard wallet you like. Go from there. Now, another thing that kind of pissed people off today. Let me turn the audio back. Here we go. Check this out.
You're talking about a number way above $750 billion. What's the story on gold?
We've got the large gold holding. I doubt we're going to revalue it, but we are going to keep it there, again, as a store of value for the American people. We've also started to get into the 21st century, a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We're not going to be buying that, but we are going to...
Pump the brakes. We're not going to be buying Bitcoin. So Bessent dropped this on live TV, and people are like, what in the F? This administration says they're going to be starting a crypto reserve, a strategic crypto reserve. They're going to be buying cryptos and Bitcoin and stuff like that. And then Bessent comes out and says, nah, we're not buying Bitcoin. We're just going to be holding it, I guess. So I guess they're saying it's just the crypto that they confiscate during police enforcement and stuff like that. I mean, you know how much cocaine's bought with Litecoin, but maybe that's what he's insinuating. So he tried to quickly backtrack this because the market got effing mad. Bitcoin didn't respond too well to that either. But so then Bessent comes out and says this: Bitcoin that has been finally forfeited to the federal government will be in the foundation of the strategic reserve that President Trump established in the March executive order. March. In addition, Treasury is committed to exploring budget-neutral pathways to acquire more Bitcoin. I lost it. I absolutely lost it when I read that. This is word phrasing to the best T I've ever freaking seen. We're looking at acquiring budget-neutral ways to buy Bitcoin, which is just absolutely hilarious. We want more Bitcoin, but we're not going to buy it. We're not going to spend $1 on it, is what he's saying. Like, it's it's awesome. So thanks for walking that back. And by the way, this dude's photogenic as hell. These headshots, fantastic. America's back. We're going to get some budget-neutral ways to buy Bitcoin. But while you're probably here, we want to talk Bitcoin, right? Let's talk Bitcoin. Let's talk Bitcoin. Why? Hey, Runner, what's that red line? That's the all-time high we had from July 13th, getting past. And we swung above it. We hung out there for an hour or two, and then we promptly ripped back down. Do I think it's over? I don't think so, but we're going to look at a lot of stuff today. So welcome to the stream. We're going to cover Mayor Multiple, Pi Cycle Top, Rainbow Theory's takes on all this stuff, and we're going to look at some numbers, right? Stock to flow as well. Shout out to the stock to flow dudes. They get a lot of hate, but I love their shit. So anyway, moving on. Not really. We're going to go back to this chart, just higher time frame. Psych. Really, it's price discovery. If you'll notice, there's no pivots up here because this has never been touched before. So when I'm not in an area, or when I'm looking at an area studying it that doesn't have pivots because it's price discovery, I fall on my bands and I look for my bands and I look for colors, right? Especially when those two collide. We start getting pinks and purples inside the bands. We look at rotations where the whales can't just really hang with it. That being said, we're looking at like 140-ish if the apes show up. Now, we had some bad news today, some stuff like that, and we've got some world events that's going to happen tomorrow, particularly the Putin-Russia meeting in Alaska, of all places. We got to watch that, and we're just going to go from there, guys. I'm not trading this scalping. I'm way up in my Bitcoin positions, and I'm happy there. The problem is like we're price discovering this, and people are shorting the living hell out of it, and then it gets ripped through, and then it has these small pullbacks. People trying to trade this chop, they're losing their damn mind. You know me though, I don't like playing between these two bands when the colors are just dead. When I say dead, like this is dead center of the reversion bands. I like buying bottoms and tops, or selling tops, right? Keep it simple, right? Buy low, sell high. Don't be stupid, like, right? We don't have any volatility right now. We're going into price discovery. Price discovery is hard, but I think we're on our way. So, moving on. If you guys have any questions in the chat, hit me up. Let me know. It's interactive. Believe it or not, we are live. This is not pre-recorded, if you can tell by all the blunders that have not been edited out. But looking at as well, the flows are coming in. They're kind of negative today. Damn, that's actually a negative on ARC, but this is where it gets really interesting. Bitcoin flows have been kind of and we're going into price discovery. Ethereum is almost into price discovery, and the flows have been in the billions. When I say billions, billion. Let me just go 1 billion. They had an actual day where Ethereum hit 1B, which is crazy. And Bitcoin didn't. So, like, we are having days where the Ethereum flows are 4 times what the Bitcoin flows are, which is not something we've ever seen before. And remember, my streams as well as Carpe Noctum's Josh streams, we used to make fun of the Ethereum flows because they were nothing. Absolutely nothing. And now they're major. So we'll see. I'd like to see this pick back up. I'd like to see some stuff turn on. But right now, even though Bitcoin's like all-time high, people aren't talking about it. It's not making news. I'm not seeing it all over the headlines of the traditional news channels. People are crying and taking billion-dollar losses right now. It's fucking crazy. So, moving on. Remember, China banned Bitcoin. Boo-hoo. Well, last time China banned Bitcoin back... Well, I say last time. Back when they did it when price was like all-time high at 65, hash rate collapsed. And no one really paid much attention to it. And then price proceeded to drop 50, 60%, right? And it nuked a lot of people, took a lot of exchanges down and stuff like that. Right now, hash rate is continuing to print all-time high. So we like that. It's healthy. We want to keep seeing that. We're just going to keep monitoring hash rates. That's what we're going to do. I don't know. Wait, dang it. I totally gave you guys the wrong info. There it is. Sorry. Thought that looked a little weird. There's hash rate. Yeah, hash rate's still all-time high. So we're good. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing when I was doing the tabs. Hashtag pro streamer. It's a free stream, by the way. But hash rate's good. Flows are doing all right. We're looking at the price levels. We're not printing anything crazy. Let's take a look at the Mayor multiple. So Mayor multiple, mind you, this has got my target stuff all over the damn place. But Mayor multiple wise, we're looking at, let me just pull it up on the index so it doesn't have all my notes. The other stuff took so long, I do not want to erase it. So here's your clean Mayor multiple chart. Mayor multiple in general, the way Rainbow Theory looks at it, we look for the 2.0 standard deviation to say that the final tail end of the bull run is happening or has started. Sometimes price doubles after that. Sometimes price stops within 24 hours, then it's over. It's not a perfect thing, but it will tell you we are in end times. Whether that's 2 days or 6 months, who knows, right? But we're nowhere near it still. And if we don't touch this, and this may be the case, I'm not saying this happens every time, but every time in the past, we've touched the 2.0 standard deviation of the Mayor multiple. And I think that Rainbow Theory is like one of the only people that project Mayor multiples. That projection right now is at $200,000, 346. Now, I will tell you this. We are not going to hit that today. We're not going to hit that tomorrow. It's going to take a lot of work to do. Now, mind you, if something absolutely stupid happens and it does hit that today, I'm out. I'll see you next week. But just keep in mind, we're going to be checking this once a week, looking to see if we're anywhere near where the 2.0 is. If you go look at the previous ones, this is your old cycle top of the 4-year. We hit it. You look at the cycle before that, this is your 20K cycle top. Hit the hell out of it multiple times, going fully parabolic, and even hit it here when we did the 13.5 bounce off the 3.3 bottom. So I can go back and it keeps doing it, but you get the point. I don't want to spend too much time here, but the 2.0 seems to be the minimum. And traditional, the guys who originally wrote the Mayor multiple, the 2.4 is where they say stop buying above 2.4. Right now, we're just looking to see where 2.0 is and go from there. So, moving on. Stock to flow. Now, people always focus how crazy this number is, and people get mad about it. Oh, yeah, it's a 3. Ignore that. Ignore that. Look at the colors and the timings. This is the number of days until the next halving, right? And it eventually works its all the way down to 0. Right, and then it halves, and then the colors start back up at the top and then work their way down. It does a 4-year cycle, and that's just how it does, and it's always going to be like that. Right now, we're getting to the yellows, right? And the yellows tend to be like end times, so we're running out of time is what I'm saying for a 4-year cycle. People are starting to argue once again that the 4-year cycle doesn't matter. I've heard that argument since 2017, and the 4-year cycle still keeps hitting. Maybe it doesn't this time, but I'm not going to bet against that until we see otherwise. Now, mind you, this cycle has been different, right? We actually did print an all-time high prior to the halving, which has never happened before, but we'll see. We look at Pi Cycle. We're nowhere near a Pi Cycle cross. This is another one in particular. If you don't know what the hell this is, you can go research it here. What it is on the Bitbo, not Bitboy. Sorry. He's out of jail, by the way. Bitbo's website, and also just pay attention to Crypto Paradigm. He checks this. If this crosses, he'll be screaming on Twitter, "You need to take profits." But right now, to even do it for this HMA to even not HMA for this moving average, simple moving average, even to touch it, the freaking pi cycle is at like 184, and it's gonna have to drag the bottom SMA up to it, and the bottom SMA right now is like is $107. So as with these, the price is gonna have to scream to even get it to do it, and it's gonna have to go above the purple line, and that would be like 300,000 maybe. It's a really hard thing to project. I don't pay attention to this too much, but it is what it is. But yeah, we're going to keep checking the pi cycle from here on out. But I can tell you this one's nowhere near. Yeah, maybe 250, which would trigger the mayor, but we'll see. There's lag, though, in this bottom line, so you can see how this slowly pulls back up. It's going to have to get way up there and hold it for a bit. But anyway, let me check. Is the chat still working? Yeah. Test. Whew. Anyway, moving on. Kobe dropped the old profile picture, so it's go time. It's go time, or he cursed it, right? We don't know. Maybe he's dumping on us. Now I'll tell you who is dumping on us. Google. Google made the announcement this week that they were going to ban all the crypto wallets in the Google store that are unlicensed and I think don't do KYC or some other stuff like that. People were pissed, and Google's price quickly retraced. Google doesn't have a lot of volatility. We're looking at it 15 minutes here, but you can see the flash crash off that news announcement of 2.4% like instantly. Board of directors did not like that. Shocker. Surprise. And Google rescinded that statement real fast. And the rumor is the whole reason Base rebranded their wallet was to avoid this, as they knew it was coming. I don't know if that's true, but it was pretty interesting. So, another interesting thing is we're talking about Monero is Cubic. If you guys haven't paid attention to this is one of the ones the Moonshot Group's dudes have been talking about a good bit. And it's really interesting because it's talking about mining Cubic over XMR, and it's actually triggering a fight where Cubic is actually pulling off a 51% attack on Monero. Keep an eye on this. This one's interesting, and it's developing as we speak. So they're getting hash rate dominance on Monero, and it's pissing off a lot of OGs and stuff like that. With that being said, let's take a look at the chart, because the chart is bullish on this. Chart is pumping. This is doing better than Fartcoin right now, so keep that in mind. It's not on many exchanges, but we'll see how that goes, because everyone tends to list everything nowadays instantly. Shout out Kraken and Coinbase. But it's up 144% in just a few weeks and gaining attention, and some more serious people on crypto Twitter that I keep tabs on are starting to talk about it. So keep an eye out on it. Now, with that being said, I try to bring yin with yang. We try to do bullish with bearish. I absolutely loved this tweet. Cryptopathic said, ZEC's, Zcash's only competitor is being actively 51% attacked, and it is still not going up. As much as you guys know that I love Zcash because it swings so beautifully, he's got a really good point. Monero's getting 51% attacked, and Zcash is doing nothing. It's dead cursed coin, right? It's just hilarious. Runner, do you long term hold Zcash? No. I just, when the swings are looking spicy, I long the swings and do really well. It hasn't been in that type of situation in a while that I've got to play with it, but it's really consistent with rainbow rotations. when you find a coin that's really, really consistent and you get to learn their wells, you can do some absolutely stupid trades that pay off. So anyway, moving on. So Trump, before we go into this, thanks again for coming out. If you guys can, like, comment, subscribe. Drop a comment in the chat if you have a question. If not, just drop a comment because it wakes up the YouTube algo and puts it on more people's front page to come say hi. Now, back to the show. Trump is considering reappointing Janet Yellen for Fed chair. Now, I am the current owner of the highest graded PSA Janet Yellen 2020 decision card in existence. Why? I'm the only one dumb enough to have ever submitted a Janet Yellen card to PSA for grading. So while I do own the highest at a near mint number 8 on the grade, this is also the lowest graded card because it's the only graded card. Now, as a reminder, this came up and I couldn't believe it. As a reminder, this card is not for sale. I'm sorry. I'm getting messaged. We're not selling this. I'm sorry. It's considered a grail. Originally, this was Doppelbait before he kind of went MIA, but it's in my possession. It's the highest one in the world, and I just wanted to do a quick reminder. It's not for sale, but it'll be absolutely crazy if Trump actually brings her in because God knows what this thing would appraise at. It's a 1 of 1, and I know you guys are jealous. I know you guys are jealous. Like, look, people are jealous. It's a gem. It's a grail. Oh, where's ISO? ISO had a tweet. I was telling I can tell you're jealous, ISO. So back to trades. Where we at? Guys, we are in a position where Eric Trump is giving better calls than what's the Scottie Pippen, right? Eric Trump is telling you to buy altcoins. Same guy rang in the stock market bell yesterday. I think it was yesterday. So World Liberty Financial is going to be ringing the NASDAQ open bell. And Alt 5 Sigma is whatever they're doing now. I don't know. Crime is in season. We're pushing this stuff. The president's sons are telling you to buy alts. Do with that what you want. I don't think World Liberty Fi is even tradable yet, but we'll see. What's up, Phil? But we're in the simulation times where this stuff is absolutely crazy. So we'll see. Now, ETFs are going nuts. I normally make fun of Cathie Wood because she does some crazy stuff from time to time. But I will say this. Every cycle, there is a time and place where Cathie Woods will absolutely destroy all traders, and she goes on a degen run, and she is flat out amazing in a crazy bull market, and her fund absolutely prints. The problem is they typically keep trying to do that when the volatility and the pumps are not there anymore. So take note is she's transitioning into this, where I think her group is going to absolutely be killing it, and the discussion is hey, Bitcoin ETFs are great. Bitcoin ETFs are getting huge. The funds are absolutely insane. And now this past few weeks, the Ethereum ones have been going absolutely bonkers. And she was doing this interview, and I'm going to pause the music and play this loudly so you guys can hear. She made a really, really good point here, and I posted it in the Discord because I was talking with Zen about it. And basically she was queuing up a lot of stuff that Zen was talking about. And it's like, OG money, like old school money, they can understand and better feel getting into Ethereum. And at the end of the day, Ethereum's not the fastest, but the damn thing keeps running no matter what. Your gas fee may get super high, but it will get your transaction. Solana, it's more better for like the faster, more crypto native groups who are used to outages and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But Ethereum translates to boomers per se much better. And a lot of the bigger institutions are picking it as their layer, their next layer too, right? So Cathie Woods couldn't have said it. It says it's better than I am, so I'm going to be quiet and show you guys, but it's pretty cool to watch. It's good. It's a good one.
I know you've made, well, ARK has made a bet on Tom Lee's Bitmine. Of course, I'm asking one of the largest ETH treasuries right now. I mean, unpack that a little bit more for me. Is that related to what you were just telling me about agentic AI and smart contracts? Do you see Ethereum as being the foundational layer to enabling a productive agentic AI world?
Yes, we have been watching carefully who is signing on to what protocol as they begin to develop their digital asset strategies. So, well, first we saw Coinbase for its layer 2 base chose Ethereum. More recently, we saw Robinhood for the layer 2 that it is evolving, also building on top of Ethereum. We had a thesis that Ethereum was going to be the institutional protocol. I know that Solana was doing much better. Solana had a massive run relative to Ether. And so many people were challenging that notion, and yet we're seeing the votes being placed. And it makes sense. Ethereum, while it might be higher cost and a little slower, it's more decentralized and therefore more secure. Solana, we think, is probably going to be the winner in more consumer-facing applications. And it was very, very difficult for us to gain a position in our ETFs with good exposure to Ether. There are all kinds of problems when 40 Act funds buy another fund, another ETF to gain exposure. There are tax issues. There are fees upon fee issues. There's something called, and this is a tax issue, bad income. If the profits associated with something generating bad income, bad doesn't mean evil at all. It just means it's a tax term. If those profits, gross profits, this is gross, there's no netting here. If those gross profits are more than 10% of the total profits generated in a year of a fund, the entire fund can be shut down. The tax benefit, you'll basically you'll lose a lot of tax benefits, and you'll be subjecting the fund to a great number of fines, if not actual shutting down. So we can't take those risks.
So yeah, she put it really well, and it's, they waited to see what would happen, and they saw who picked what, and what layer 2s were picked by the big ones, and now they're positioning themselves into Tom Lee's BMNR quite heavily, very heavily. And as with tradition, she's buying a top. She's capitulated a bunch of stuff at the absolute lows, so just keep note of what she's doing. Is what it is. Let me pick up the music again. I apologize. I've always done these streams with music in my ears, and I cannot do it without listening to music anymore. So anyway, moving on. So let's look Sol. Let's take a look at Sol. So I've been pinging Zen a bit in the chat because this one's actually starting to wake back up. It's one of the simplest charts in existence right now, as far as my opinion. This is one of the biggest players in the crypto industry. I would rather have this over Zcash, obviously, XRP, EOS, X, whatever. I think this is a good one to bag, and I think it's got a lot of potential still long term, but it has been going sideways since March of 2024. And it's been an easy range to trade, but I'm waiting to see if it actually can get above 216, because right now it got real freaking close, 209 back on the July 23rd, and it pulled back, came back up again. Now it's pulling back again. On the H4, it's a little bit easier to read, but we're trying. Bottom, top, top, bottom, signals are there. Like if you want to trade this on the lower time frames, I'm watching this on daily. Malley's much lower time frames, and then Zen's probably a good mix in between the two. But I'm really waiting to see Zen turn on and be real degenerate on Sol again, because when that dude's degenerate on Sol, the dude prints boats. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to point out, remember how Kathy Wood picked Ethereum and they're buying all of that in the ETFs. I still check the Solana ETF from time to time. This is the only one, and there's like no volume. I know a ton of different ETFs are going to be coming. There's even like Pingu and Bonk ETFs, because God knows we needed those. We needed meme ETFs. Doge ETF, sure, we need it, right? Right now, guys, Ethereum's the only one getting volume. Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm going to keep paying attention to that until proven otherwise. What's up, Cardenas on YouTube? Crypto Paradigm. It can be. We were in the middle of the stream and you started sending me crypto or kitty videos, Dime. We'll see. Solana. And even then, I don't think this is going to be the vehicle that Solana ETF gets going. Maybe BlackRock comes in and drops it. Fidelity gets one, but I doubt it. But the king of the chat, the king of the castle, everyone's been paying attention to. We're here. Is Ethereum. Why is this so damn important? It's the number 2, and the number 2 has been rocking. And it's been rocking and rolling, and it damn near got an all-time high. And if we get Ethereum to start going into price discovery, that also rhymes with alt season. Maybe it doesn't rhyme in English, but it rhymes with alt season in a bunch of other languages, and that's what we're looking for. And we got within, what, 2%, 1%? It got real close. It got real stupid real fast. Wrong tool. Sorry, that's Martingale stuff. We got within 1.69% of an all-time high. 48.67, which is quite a few cycles ago. I'm not kidding. It was a few cycles ago. The all-time high on Ethereum. Now, mind you, this is Ethereum back when it was on video cards. This is when dudes were crunching 1080s in a closet. November of 2021 is the all-time high. So I can tell you this: if Ethereum is absolutely shagging butt in November of 2025, I'm going to have a very hard time holding it. Q4 crypto ripping, I get real skittish, and I will forever be skittish, and that's fine. Maybe I sell it 8,000 and it goes to 15. I'll be fine. That being said, all eyes are on this. All the flows are on this. The Ethereum Foundation is becoming less relevant. They have only about $1 billion left. Tom Lee has got way more Ethereum than Vitalik and them do. So all these ETFs are getting attention. All these people are getting volume. It's getting spicy. Eventually, the rising tide of Ethereum will lift all boats. And what does Runner mean by that? All these tickers on the side will rip eventually if Ethereum just goes into price discovery and starts shagging butt up to like $8,000. Right now, the liquidity is kind of flowing between the two, between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And mind you, Bitcoin's been going into all-time highs for months and months and months. It's outran Ethereum big time. So did Solana way back in the day when it just went went out the gate and just blew up, right? Went crazy high. Ethereum was lagging and people were like, we're hating this thing. But this thing has done a serious recovery from $1,300 all the way back up to almost the all-time high. And by God, we've been kissing this level here for what feels like an eternity. This level here, $4,080, has held us down forever. Bam, 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 all the way down till we had a channel walk that broke. Rainbow Theory traders got long on this, and it's up big time. Way big time. We caught the trend. It's awesome. All these people talking clout now, da-da-da-da, they're talking like some of them have stamps for here. Dude, we caught it here back in April, which is fucking crazy. Now the trade's kind of over. We hit our targets, and now we're talking about all-time highs. So the game changes, right? Before, we were targeting this. This is the wall that was not broken. and we were talking about a move from that break when it broke the channel walk, and that was a 127% move on a big asset. That's not like me just like throwing the house at throwing the house's money at Chill House, but that was the call. And now we've blitzed through this, and now we're going into almost price discovery. We're almost there. But man, if you guys look at the colors, Ethereum is hot, hot, hot. Now we have a lot of ETF flows to keep the fuel going, right? We do have that, but it's not going to scare me too much. It'll scare me a little bit emotionally, but it's not going to scare me if this goes and bounces and has to cool off, let these bands ride up, and then it start moving its way back up into price discovery. That's not going to freak me out. Mind you, it's only August. We're not in Q4 yet. So we'll see. A lot of stuff today got shooken out, but guess what? Asia's here. Asia's online. It looks like Asia's trying to recover it, so we'll see. We'll see. What's up, Zincy? Oh, Zincy. I recognize your PFP. That's not Zincy. So back to reality. Carpe Noctem posting rainbows. This is actually kind of interesting. I haven't seen the rainbow chart. This is not mine. This is Ethereum. This is him doing it on Ethereum. And he's looking at like where this could potentially top out at. And the current, like, if you're looking at like that band of like the orange, you're talking about like $10,000 to $14,000 is kind of where he's like, maybe is where it's going to go this year. So it'll be kind of interesting because if Ethereum can get to $10,000, well, frankly, if Ethereum can get to $9,000 and 1 cent, I'm gonna have to sell a bunch of it just on principle. I've been rooting for my boy. Sell went over 9,000 for years, and if it just freaking happens, I think it's time to offload. At least some. But that's going to be a crazy trade. But you're talking about levels that are pretty damn... Even though that doesn't look like a lot, $10,000 ETH is going to be crazy. So, anyway, moving on. Speaking of crazy, and this is another point I wanted to show you guys, the chart is absolutely insanity. It looks like a completely unrealistic price action, literally making higher highs and lower lows. The way ETH moves makes no sense. Dudes, this has been really hard to trade in general, even with like the Rainbow Theory tools and even all the high IQ dudes preaching alpha in the Discord. We barely caught that channel walker because it was painful to watch, but we did catch that. But he is technically right. If you look at the all-time high, or these wicks instead of the actual order block, it is technically like higher high, higher high, higher high, lower low, lower low, lower low. And I'm not going to say the Q word that triggers people, you know, the good old accumulation cylinder. But maybe it is. Maybe we need to look at that. We'll see. We start seeing Livermore charts on Twitter. You tag me and let me know. The point being, price is nearly all-time high. Other stuff is price discovery. And there are home dudes shorting this stuff over and over in size, and I do not know why. This is almost as bad as focusing on meme coins right now. In my opinion, all I care about right now is Bitcoin and Ethereum, because if those go in the right direction, I don't have to worry about what the technical setup is on the charts for Fartcoin, PopCat, AVAX, you name it. I just have to worry about those, because if ETH runs, Bitcoin runs, we're going to get a Sol run, and then everything else, just the tide will rise, right? We can go play with little stuff later. But if Ethereum is setting up to keep ripping through the all-time high and go into legit price discovery, I feel more comfortable going into size on Ethereum than I do Fartcoin or Chillhouse. Like that's just who I am. And maybe that's why I prefer Toyotas instead of Lambos, right? We'll see. But those are the dudes. Don't do this. It's crazy. Be careful. We also have Tom Lee. This is the one I keep mentioning. If you guys don't know, Tom Lee is the one behind that filed for $20 billion worth of common stock so he could buy Ethereum. $20 billion. Now, while that would not put a dent in Bitcoin, this is literally saying, hey, I want to go buy like 4% of all Ethereum that's ever been created. Nobody gets to do that on Bitcoin, but somebody's actually coming in with size. You know what? 4 or 5%, that sounds good. I'm going to go buy 4 or 5% of the second biggest crypto asset in the world that the Trump kids are actually saying buy. So anyway, Mods, please ban Dime. He's flooding Ethereum. What does it say number 2? Number 2. Oh, top fans. Wow, Dime's my number 1 top fan. That's clearly a glitch in the YouTube algorithm. Now, you guys are asking me, wow, what is this? Who is Tom Lee? I'll tell you who Tom Lee is. Tom Lee is Murad for rich people. People understand what Murad is, or as meme coiners know what Murad is. Tom Lee is selling this Ethereum to boomers like you wouldn't believe. And they are buying it, they're understanding it, and they're putting millions and millions and millions of dollars into this. Here's a video of it. This is working. This is all over the news. This is basically Ethereum's version of Michael Saylor. So shout out Tom Lee. Keep doing what you're doing.
That would value Ethereum today at around 16,000, and it's currently 3,700.
Let's talk about Ethereum.
Let me start that over.
That would value Ethereum today at around 16,000, and it's currently 3,700.
Let's talk about Ethereum. Why is this something you need to hold in your portfolio?
Well, to me, Ethereum's having its Bitcoin 2017 moment again. And to give perspective, in 2017, Bitcoin was under 1,000. But that was the year when Wall Street discovered that the narrative of Bitcoin is digital gold. And Bitcoin has gone to 120,000 now. So 120 times increase. In 2025, a couple things are happening around Ethereum. The first is the Genius Act is now making stable coins kind of green lighted, which is the ChatGPT moment for crypto, but it needs a smart contract, so it doesn't work on Bitcoin. The second is the SEC is pushing forward with Project Crypto, which is actually asking Wall Street to move the entire financial system onto the blockchain. Ethereum is the preferred choice for Wall Street because it's had zero downtime since inception, matching what the banks want, 100% uptime. It's also the most legally compliant and secure blockchain because it's recognized in the US and it's the second largest blockchain. And the third is almost all of it is taking place on Ethereum. JP Morgan's building their stablecoin on Ethereum. Robinhood is tokenizing on Ethereum. You know, the custody banks are doing it on Ethereum. So it's really where Wall Street meets, but that's also where AI is meeting crypto. Because as you know, as we tokenize and move towards robots, you need a token economy to control them, which is taking place on Ethereum.
And which is why you're now the chair of BitMine, which is looking to build out this treasury of Ethereum, not so differently than we've seen Michael Saylor do with Bitcoin at Strategy.
Yes, that's right. So I think that MicroStrategy has written the playbook for what a Bitcoin treasury is, and now he's so big he has a sovereign put, right? He has 600,000 Bitcoin. Any nation that wants to get 1 million Bitcoin probably thinks it's cheaper to buy MicroStrategy. The Ethereum treasury model, which is we're trying to be the MicroStrategy of Ethereum, works similarly, but we're at the earliest stages because if this is the 2017 moment for Ethereum at 3,700, it could make a move to 30,000 or more. On top of that, Ethereum pays you for providing network security by staking. That's a 3% yield. So BitMine owns over $3 billion worth of Ethereum. When we start staking and it's legally compliant, all within the US, that's more than $100 million of revenue. Of net income. So it's a profitable treasury company. And we've been able to grow our holdings of Ethereum from roughly $4 per share in 30 days ago to over $25 today. So it's adding about 80 cents to $1 worth of ETH every day.
So if BitMine is taking a similar approach to Ethereum, where do you see prices for Ether going?
Well, I looked at some research from Sean Farrell, who's our head of digital asset strategy, and he put out a presentation about Ethereum today. So he thinks the ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin could go back to its 2021 highs, which is about 0.14. That would value Ethereum today at around 16,000, and it's currently 3,700. So he's just saying Bitcoin ratio versus ETH, let's get back to where it was 5 years ago, which makes sense because it's a better story today than it was in 2021, and that gets you, close to 16,000. That would value.
So 16,000 is like the conservative call they're doing, and then 30,000 is, and he's sprinkling all the right words for the boomers, saying it's the most legally compliant, 100% uptime, United States legal. There's also the staking to secure the network. He's spoon feeding the older generation that this is what you need. So I think that's why we'll see it over like Solana as far as like ETF flows. And I'm all for it because this is good for the entire crypto market, not just Bitcoin or Solana. So we'll see. What's up, Zen C and Mally? Mally's thinking we're going to send Ethereum up to 16K. Now, mind you, the minimum requirement for a Ethereum node is 32 ETH. And if they actually hit like 30,000 targets, a single node is worth $1 million. You need about $31,000 to be $1 million per 32 ETH. But 3% return on $1 million, you could do pretty well with that. But we'll see. This is this dude right now is pulling in billions into the flows. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. The flow can only go so far for so long before price goes up. Now, Bitcoin really saw a lot of flows before it actually started pumping. Ethereum doesn't have that much market cap in comparison to Bitcoin, right? So let me pull up a different screen real quick. So just a quick explanation of this. So the market cap of Ethereum is only $550 billion. Bitcoin's 2.4 trillion, right? You could throw billions at this and you won't get 1% of Bitcoin, but you can throw billions at Ethereum and you can get like 4% of all Ethereum. So we'll see. Solana's still like the number 5 here. I don't count Tether as a crypto project, to be honest with you. I'm actually kind of surprised BNB is above Solana, albeit not by much. But we'll see. This will get interesting. $30,000 ETH is crazy. You're talking like 10xing it from here, dude. Are you? See, even 16K sounds crazy to me, but we'll see. Mally's been writing a lot of stuff. Back to flows. When I'm talking like this dude's bringing in money. You saw the flows from Bitcoin. The Ethereum flows are crazy. August 11th was a $1 billion flow into Ethereum. Billion. It's a $550 billion asset, and a billion came in here, and then Tom Lee saying he's going to go buy 20 billion. Like you can only throw so much money. Like I said before, it's a supply shock. So, moving on. As with the bullish, as with the bearish, this is a friendly reminder. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Rain Lomas spent $75,000 on Ethereum during the 2015 ICO. Unfortunately, he lost the wallet, and it is completely inaccessible. His lost ETH is now worth over $1 billion, and he doesn't have access to it. So, don't put all your eggs in one basket is what I'm keep telling you guys. If you blow something up, I want it to not take more than 50% of all your assets with it, right? Think how to spread this out. And don't put it all in one exchange. Don't put it all in a cold wallet. Like, diversify your bonds, right? To quote Wu-Tang. But friendly reminder, Kraken is an affiliate. We are an affiliate for Kraken. If you would like to get 10% off your Rainbow Trends subscription for life, go sign up with Kraken and give us a screenshot, and we can go apply a coupon to give you guys a permanent discount on the program. But we also I dig Kraken. It's I chose them. They didn't choose me. So I get the amount of freaking exchange offers I get is absolutely mental, and I turn them all down. And I finally just said, F it, I'm going to pick one and stick with it. And I chose Kraken because I really like Jesse Pallet first, and then I much more prefer their API and their GUI at this point. And their fees are like half of what Coinbase is, and they may or may not have way better staking rates and staking in general. So anyway, moving on. So you guys are going to claim this is AI, but it is one of my most favorite pictures of Putin in existence. This is, I hate that. I'm already paying for Twitter Blue, and they put that in your face. This is an actual meeting at George Bush's ranch when they hosted Putin way back in the day. And there's a bunch of pictures of George Bush driving Putin around on his ranch in an Ford F-250. So I don't know how they're going to, I think they're meeting at an air base in Alaska. But if you guys don't know, Trump is meeting with Putin tomorrow. They're going to be obviously talking about the war in Ukraine. From what I can tell, and I'm not an expert in this, it's not going to go very well or very far. What I heard is there was actually issues with the translators with the negotiations prior to this happening, but they still set it up anyway, so I don't know what we're going to get out of this. Putin's basically saying he's willing to stop the war if they give him like a third of Ukraine, which I don't think is going to happen. So we'll see where this goes, but I am keeping tabs on it. As much as you guys hate certain people in this world, I hate people getting buried, and destroys generations, destroys a lot of people for no damn good, in my opinion, for 99% of it. As much as people like hate Putin and stuff, you have to talk to the man. You have to talk to him. All wars end at negotiation tables where deals are made, and then the bodies quit getting buried, right? So we're getting one step closer. I think the Biden administration refused to talk to Putin, and that means nothing will happen, right? You're just not going to happen. People don't win wars. You push them until a truce is, or until a negotiation is made, until a deal is struck. Hopefully Trump can get that. I doubt it. I think eventually he could get it, but I don't think he's going to get it this week. But we'll see. I'm rooting for it because I'm always going to root for peace. But yeah, that's my spiel on that one because we need to keep a tab on it. And then speaking of chaos, the United States has ordered the Department of U.S. Air and Naval Forces to the Southern Caribbean to fight against drug troops. So we have talked about how they designated the cartels as a terrorist negotiation, and now they're starting to move United States armed forces against them. This will get really, really interesting because typically when you mess with the cartels, it's like kicking a beehive. I don't know where this will go. But I haven't seen them actually move on the cartels yet, so it's actually interesting to see they're actually starting to do this, and I have no idea what will happen there. No idea. It's cartels' home turf. It's not going to... People think it'll be super easy, and I think you guys are way off on that one. They're well-trained. Now, anyway, moving on. We are an hour and 20 minutes into this stream. We are going to be hitting it and going back to the Rainbow Trends Discord to go hang out with the friends and fam. We're going to go look at the cat videos that Dime sent me, and we're going to open up the Discord, turn the screen recording software off, and take questions, hang out the rest of the night. You're more than welcome to come join us. The link is in the website at the top on the banner, as always, or it's in my profile. You can find it there. But thanks again for coming out. Smash the like button. It helps us out a lot, and I will talk to you guys next week. I've got one coming up where I'm gonna have to switch the dates, probably Wednesday. But anyway, thanks again. Much love.